to this week's episode, episode 2 of Cooking in Motion. We are back here in Mono, Ontario, and with me as our guest celebrity chef is Connected Emotion community member and foodie, Brad Lee. Hi, Brad.
Hey, Sarah, how you doing?
I'm good, you?
Good, good.
So, Brad, you enjoy the outdoors, you like going on canoe trips, but I think anybody that knows you knows that your one true outdoor passion and possibly one true love is fly fishing, correct?
That is absolutely true.
And today you're going to be teaching me how to make a special recipe with fish.
So what we're going to do today is we're going to do two dishes. We're going to do a fish. It's going to be what I call the famous fish. The famous fish is basically a steamed fish on top of rice, and then we'll do a nice sauce on it that goes along with any sort of steamed fish in the Chinese cooking repertoire. This is the freshly caught trout. It'll be done with a black bean bacon sauce. Here's the bacon. It's for that size of fish, about 6 to 8 strips of bacon. That will be minced up. This is what I call the holy trinity of Southern Chinese cooking. Green onions, ginger, and garlic. We'll be mincing all this up to start to form the basis of a sauce, fry it with the bacon, and then we will be finishing it off and flavoring it with a bit of soy sauce. And this is the black bean sauce. To accompany that, and if you have any vegetarians in your camp group, we're going to be doing Chinese broccoli. I'm going to add some lily root into it. That has a little bit of carbohydrate in it and fiber. It's really good. And I'm soaking a little bit of white fungus right now. And we'll be finishing that with some oyster sauce and then also some ginger and garlic. Okay, so we're gonna start by prepping the fish, and I'll get you to do that. So it's really easy, it's just a bunch of chopping and stuff like that. You gotta start by peeling the ginger, and probably the easiest way to do that is with a spoon. It's one of the best ways to peel ginger is just to put the edge of it against the ginger and then just peel it back like that. So I'll let you continue with that, sure. But you see how fast that was, eh?
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. And you don't have to get all of the skin off. I mean, that's pretty good. Yeah.
It smells good. With
the gailan, or the Chinese broccoli, what I do is I want to actually separate the stem from the leaves because they have both different cooking times. We'll cut off just the end of it because that's usually pretty dry. And then I'll cut the leaves off on the bias, which is just at an angle, like that. And I'll set them aside. And then with the stalk, I will cut it down also on the bias, just to cut it in the middle just to give more cooking service. So you can sort of see, it's like regular broccoli and just the stalk, but this part will probably take maybe a minute and a half to cook depending on how you like your vegetables. This is nicely reconstituted. It doesn't have a lot of taste, but it has a nice crunch to it, and it'll take on the flavors of ginger and garlic, oyster sauce that we're going to put in later on. When you're preparing this, you'll have to take it apart into small pieces, but it's really important that this back part of the fungus, you take out the really dark yellow parts. So I'll just cut that off because that actually tastes really sour. So I'll just cut that out. This is the part that you want, and you would just break it up. The next thing that I'm going to do is prepare the lotus root. You'll find that sometimes it has bruises and things on it. You just want to slice that off, right? What you want to do is just to do some really thin slices. The thinner that you slice it, the easier it will be to cook. Just keep cutting it. You can eat it raw if you want to try it.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it good?
No, it's just kind of starchy. It's got fiber in it.
Like a potato?
Like a fibrous potato. It's pretty plain, right?
It's not bad.
Yeah. In Chinese cuisine, they will often take them and they will dry them. And they'll sugar them up, and it'll become candy.
So Brad, tell me, how long have you had type 1 diabetes?
This year will be 20 years since being diagnosed with type 1. I grew up in Calgary in Alberta, and I used to do a lot of backpacking and all that sort of thing. There was a long kind of break from that when I went overseas to work in Hong Kong. I lived in Shanghai and stuff like that. I worked as a journalist over there. I came back to Canada, I guess it was 1998, and I started working at the Toronto Star as a journalist. And somewhere in the middle of all that, I got the diagnosis of being diabetic. I just went with it, right? And sort of learned how to deal with the diabetes just enough, without really understanding everything. I just went about, like, living, doing my thing. The diabetes would slow me down from time to time. You get your highs, you get your lows and everything like that, but you just learn how to deal with it.
Did you find that you had any challenges getting back into outdoor activities as an adult? Like, I know you go canoe tripping now. Like,
well,
you go
yeah,
camping.
and actually the canoe tripping is something that I only just started with after learning about connected in motion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I guess for the first 17 or so years of having diabetes, I would go out and do day trips, stuff that didn't take me too far, stuff where my wife wouldn't worry about me too much.
Yeah.
She's not a very much of an outdoor person, but
Okay.
I am, and I like getting out. Since I got diabetes when I was 34, I'm 54 now, and up until I met Connected in Motion, I did not do any camping.
Wow.
Unless I was with large groups and I told them about my condition and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I really, really missed that. As it turns out, the first event that I joined them on was a cooking course for one day. And at that I thought, hey, these people are kind of cool. So I thought, well, maybe I'll try to go on some other things. And I think they were holding a Slipstream at the end of September that year in 2017. So I decided to go to the camp.
That was also my first Slipstream, but I wasn't joining Connected in Motion. I was working at the summer camp, and I specifically remember you because the day of the Slipstream, I was manning the parking lot with a walkie-talkie.
Yes, that is true.
I was supposed to be keeping everyone out. We had a very specific time slot for people to start arriving for the Slipstream because we had buses leaving and things. And Brad rolls up and tries to convince me to let him in early.
I thought I'd go to this camp. I was told there's about 50 or 60 people. And that's all I knew about it. I had no idea what they'd be like. I thought, well, if I don't like them, I've got my kayak. I can just paddle off into the wilderness and be happy.
Escape.
Right?
I mean, not to put other type 1s off of solo tripping, but I know you have gone solo tripping and you had a bit of a scary experience. Do you want to tell that story?
Yeah, so I had such a good time at that first Slipstream. You know, I thought, okay, well, I'll go in a couple days beforehand so I can enjoy the outdoors like I used to. And then I'll go into camp and then I'll come out and have another night and then go back.
Yeah.
I would go out and I would eat, but I wouldn't bolus for the food I was eating. And it was always enough. I would come off the river, I'd be between 5 and 7, 5 and 6.5. It was perfect. Little did I know that by pedaling or paddling kayak all day, it really depletes your energy reserves and the reserves in your liver and all that kind of stuff. This first night, I paddled up Canoe Lake about 2.5, 3 hours. I think everything was going well. For dinner, I had actually more Chinese food. I had a big fat rice dumpling and it was good. And I bolused half of what I would regularly do because I knew that I'd been active. Everything was good, went to sleep, and probably at about 3 in the morning got this massive, huge CGM alarm. And I thought, can't be. I feel great. This is so good to be in the outdoors again. Everything's fantastic.
Right.
I got a finger poke and do the glucometer test, and it said I was like, I think the CGM said I was 3.1. I thought, can't be. And I measured and it was like 2.9 and falling.
Yikes.
Right? And I thought,
Yikes.
oh, that's like almost the worst hypo I've ever had.
Yeah.
Right? So I treated. I had 2 tubes of Dex 4 tablets, and then I had a Cliff Bar. And I thought that, 120 grams of carb, never ever needed that much to recover. And then I started sweating profusely.
Oh no.
And that's worse because you're really crashing, right?
Yeah, you start to panic.
Yeah, so I just kind of calmed myself. I was awake all night. And I only ever recovered to about 4.7. And I didn't understand what had happened.
Yeah,
right?
I've never experienced that.
I was pretty freaked out.
I would be too.
I did a very gentle saunter over to the bear bag, brought it down. As soon as it hit the ground, I was just piling gorp and everything into my mouth and everything like that. So I got to the camp, and luckily I knew people from the previous year, and one of our friends, Lorraine Anderson, she explained that what had happened is that I overexerted myself, and any glycogen stores that I had in my liver that would usually be pumped into my blood and I guess into my muscles and stuff, my liver should have been dumping more glycogen in, but there was nothing there to dump. It is experiential learning, but not in the best way. Okay, we're gonna get the rice going. Jasmine rice, white rice, it's always 1 to 1.5. No?
Well, there you go.
Right away. Oh, look at that, perfect.
Nice.
You didn't even have to wait for that to prime or anything.
Well, yeah, it was still hot, so
nice.
it converted to gas immediately. You want to know my pro tip for cooking rice? Don't forget you're cooking rice. Check on it. And if it is burned, well, just scrape that part off.
Nobody's perfect. If you can't catch a fresh fish on trip, there's always rice cakes. And gorp. Lots of gorp.
So I'm gonna cut off the head. We don't need that. Anyway, we don't need it, so we get rid of it.
If your fish starts to get dry, like a fish out of water, just add water. Like a fish in... Okay, you get it.
So I'm going to score it along here as well. And this is a really good trick for if you're camping and you want to make sure that your fish cooks all the way through. Just score it.
Say when, I guess. Ooh.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Okay.
Just rub that on there and then in there a bit and just put a bit here. On top. That's good.
Perfect.
And just a bit inside here.
Okay.
So we've got the rice nearly done. It's steaming now. We're going to steam the fish on top of it. So I just dropped that on top. It's been oiled up, so it'll be okay. Keep the lid on tight and it should steam well.
A little drip drop?
That's good.
Okay.
Perfect. And then put the bacon in there.
Bacon.
And have you got like a spatula of some sort, or a spoon?
I do have a spatula.
Well, I guess there's that spoon, but a spatula would be better. More surface area is nice. Oh, you know what? If I had to shake a pepper, I'd put pepper in. But the bacon's nice and crisp. Add the Holy Trinity, the green onions, garlic, and ginger. Just dump it all in. Okay, then mix it all up. Okay, we just want to get that going. Get that nice sizzling sound.
Yeah.
We'll put a little bit of soy sauce in just for coloration. It'll darken up quite a bit, but it'll be good. Okay, I just put a bit of soy sauce in. Okay. Okay, and then last is the about a big dollop of that black bean sauce. Get that nice fermented bean flavor. Let's see if this fits. Oh, it does. Perfect.
Wow, this smells so good. Nice.
Put a bit more.
To speed up the cooking process while camping, prep all your veggies ahead of time before a trip. Less chopping, more chilling.
Okay, get that nice and real sizzly.
Okay.
Smelling good.
Yeah, it smells really good.
If you're bringing liquid ingredients or beverages on your camping trip, make sure you pre-measure them into reusable containers. Bringing glass out into nature is a no-no, and pre-measuring them saves on precious packing space. Boxed wine, anyone?
So you put the sauce on to finish off the fish. Good.
Perfect.
Okay, let's get the ginger and garlic going in there.
Yeah.
Put the guilan first because it takes a bit of time.
Okay.
Right there.
Yeah.
Just put a splash in here.
Soy sauce.
Yeah. So what this is doing is it's frying. If we put the lid on, it'll steam a bit. Okay, now I'll put some of that oyster sauce in. Good. There it is.
Ooh, careful.
That is hot.
Perfect. A little bit.
Yeah, just all over. That's good, that's good, that's good. That's plenty. Okay, let's eat.
Wow, awesome. Okay.
Be good.
Okay, I'll turn this off.
Some of the greens. A big piece of
Oh,
fish on top.
nice.
Just watch for the bones. and everything. Bit of the sauce. All that nice, delicious bacon white wine sauce in there. Oh, this should be good. Perfect.
Oh my gosh, yes.
With super bendy chopsticks.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're so bendy.
Are you ready for our
Right.
taste test?
Yep.
Okay.
It should be good.
Okay.
You go first.
Well, okay, I'm gonna try to get a bite of everything here.
Really? Oh, okay.
We're gonna try. All right.
Right.
Ready?
Good. Oh, the fish is good. Nice with the wine.
Oh my goodness. That is delicious. So good.
This would be just like at home when I'm camping. Perfect.
Amazing. And for the carb count for this recipe, we're only counting for the rice. We think the vegetables and bacon are fairly negligible, especially if you're camping. Well, thank you so much, Brad, and we will see the rest of you on the next episode of Cooking in Motion. Cheers.